are live on another edition of All In on High School Sports. Kurt Valenti, Jennifer Valenti, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Couple more days, three more days of work. Then we get a nice little winter break, teacher convention. So I'm pumped up. What about you?
I'm good as well. Can't complain.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, live from Maryland. Evening, everyone. Time to enjoy the greatest high school sports talk on earth. Then he's saying, it must be a full moon. Kurt is on time tonight.
I know. Shocking.
I'm on time because she was on time.
Oh,
and when
my
she's
gosh.
on time, then we get on time.
Don't believe it. Anybody who's watching, don't
Coach
believe
Breslin.
it.
Good evening, everyone. Looking forward to a great show.
Oh,
And Coach
that's a
Breslin
little
will be.
foreshadowing of things to come this evening. Good evening, Coach Breslin. Thank you for tuning in. And we are honored to have you as our guest picker tonight. So you will be joining us later. So thank you in advance. Looking forward to chatting and seeing you.
So hey, listen, non-publics kick off this week. One of the best brackets. Coach Breslin saying thanks so much. Probably one of, if not the best bracket in the country. Non-public A, non-public B also starts up, and we have the public sectional semifinals this week.
Mm-hmm.
So big games all around.
Narrowing it down.
You know, you're gonna have a lot of good teams this week go on, and a lot of good teams going home. You know, listen, it's great for obviously for the football stuff, but you know, it's a tough time when you lose these games. You know, you work a long time trying to get to that state championship, and you lose in a sectional semifinal. But listen, there's a lot of guys, again, a lot of coaches we've had programs on that we're happy for. I'm happy for everybody, right? But let's go. Coach Breslin, survive in advance. Greatest time of the year.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Do you like the idea of football and all football, whether it's high school, college, or even NFL, where it kind of is a one and done? As opposed to baseball, basketball, hockey, where they play it, best out of 5, best out of 7. Do you like that where it's like one bad game, you're going home?
Yes and no. I do. But also, I feel like sometimes, let's talk about the College World Series, right? I think it just gets very drawn out. You know, that's hard. It's just like school ends for those kids, and they're still playing and playing and playing. I guess also, I do. For high school, I do. I like the one and done for high school. I'll just keep it at that.
You know what? It's pressure. And like you said, football times, I know a lot of times you hear, oh, well, if we played them 10 times, 9 out of 10, you'd beat them.
Right.
But that one time, you don't beat them.
Yeah,
and that's it.
It's
for all the marbles.
It's so funny because when I used to scout for basketball, one of the head coach's first question would be, all right, we play 10 times, how many do we win? That was always the first question, more than even just the scouting report. It was like, all right, we play 10 times, how many times are we beating them?
Coach Breslin, yes, but with football, it is difficult to do it any other way. Agreed for high school.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing in college, same thing in NFL. I mean, it's just, listen, it's one and done. It's why it's a pressure. I think it's the most pressure-packed game. I think it's the most exciting sport because it's just, that's it,
On that note, a little bit different. I actually forgot to mention this to you this evening, but I know we're not doing all in or not all in, but I have a friend who has a son who plays football shared with me today, and I'm not going to call it a meme, an excerpt of a quotation where it was about senior football players who aren't going on to play at the next level, right? And how it's so different than any other sport because, for basketball, I can go and, play pickup somewhere or play in a league. And, for football, that's really, hard. Maybe there's flag football and stuff, but you're never gonna really, once you finish your playing, no matter what level it's at, you're not gonna put on your helmet and your pads necessarily again.
True.
So it was very interesting. I'd never really thought of it in that perspective. So it adds a little extra sentimental value to the end of a season, end of a senior season, I should say.
Dr. John Taylor, Irvington AD. Hoops. Do you see Montville girls volleyball is in the semifinals against Hackettstown on Thursday?
Oh, you know what? It's funny you say that because I did see that they had a phenomenal season. Yeah, so thank you, Dr. John, for mentioning that. Yes. I have a good longtime friend who's coaching at the freshman level there. So that's how I was able to kind of see and stay on top of it. But thank you for the Montville shout out.
I have a question. I see you have your Yankee hat on. What channel are they on? I'm watching Fox, and it's the Phillies and Astros. Are the Yankees on tonight?
I'm gonna, ignore your snarkiness this evening.
just
Yeah.
curious. I
Yeah.
didn't, or did you just want to feel that since it's World Series time, you want to put a Yankee hat on?
Well, actually, you know what? I just didn't want to wear anything Denver Broncos since they're having they might have won recently, but Russ really isn't showing that he's worth the money. So yeah.
Listen,
Okay.
we're on a bye.
You wanna-
All smiles. We have
you wanna
nine.
go that route?
We have
can
9
go
to
that
go.
route.
We'll deal with that tomorrow. Kenny's saying, "I'll give you an all-in or not all." Dr. John saying, "Dang, Kurt throwing the shade."
Right.
Great
Yes,
day
no,
for
right,
golf
Dr. John.
today for the Yankees. Nice and warm, Coach Breslin. Kenny saying, "Same channel. The Broncos are on, Jen." And Hoops throwing
Exactly.
it back. Kenny's saying, "I'll give you an all-in question. All in or not all in on Thanksgiving games if one or both teams are still in for the playoffs?"
Still in for that's interesting. You know what? I'm gonna answer that both ways because I feel like I just had this conversation with a parent who has a son who lost in the state tournament. Now they're going to have like a consolation game, and I just feel like that's a hard game to play, not that that's a Thanksgiving game, but and you had that happen when you coach.
Listen,
when you're done, it's just hard.
I'll say it both
and then you're
ways.
afraid, can I finish?
Yes.
Then you're going to be afraid someone's going to get hurt, and if you're still alive, do you want to risk that game? That's a hard, I love the rivalries and all, like we were talking about, Eastside and Kennedy still play each other. There's really some good rivalries that exist. But I don't know. I think things have changed. It makes me nervous. Like if seasons are done, what are they really playing for? And somebody could get hurt. And if you're still alive, what's the bigger picture?
Well, I'll give you 3 scenarios. Scenario 1 is back in 2006. We won the state championship the Friday before Thanksgiving Day. So Friday night, we win the first state championship in St. Mary's in 26 years. Okay, boys, that was a Friday night. We ain't seeing you Saturday. We ain't seeing you Sunday. Come in Monday, watch the state championship game. All right, boys, we'll see you tomorrow. Come back Tuesday. All right, boys, how are you getting up? Wallington's all fired up. They got the fire trucks there, it's 7-0 Wallington.
Exactly.
All right, you know what? After a quarter, gets back to whatever, and then we take over. We win the game. Number two, we lose the state championship game the Friday night before Thanksgiving. How are we coming to practice?
Right.
Wallington's been off for a month now.
It's always Wallington.
It's always Wallington. That's what they're all geeked up. We're gonna. We don't want to, how do you play? You just lost a state championship game. You're playing a meaningless Thanksgiving game. Number 3, okay, and Coach Breslin can attest to this. You're an undefeated team. You have a state championship game. Number 1, you're worried about injuries. Number 2, are you practicing for this Thanksgiving game, or are you looking ahead to your state championship game? You're not going to show anything new in that game. So, it's hard. It is. He's saying he's not all in. I'm just not all in with it anyway.
Yeah.
I never saw anything. If both teams maybe are out, it's then yeah. But if one's in, and
was yours the Wallington St. Mary's? Was that a Thanksgiving Day tradition?
That was our Thanksgiving Day
Okay.
game. Yeah. So.
I just wasn't sure because there's also aside from just Thanksgiving Day games, you have the way sometimes the schedule works out. And again, I know football is a little bit different, but in other sports where you're trying to fit in, if you've had a lot of rain and you're trying to fit up makeup games, and you have if you're alive in your counties, and in the state tournament, it's hard to fit those in. And then you get knocked out of the state tournament and that team wants to make up a makeup game. And you're like, seriously? I don't,
it's just,
this game is of no consequence.
And then I remember, I want to say it was a Verona Cedar Grove game. This was years ago, and they had a great running back. I believe he was I don't remember the whole thing. But anyway, so they're playing each other in the state championship game. But that's their Thanksgiving rival. So it was Cedar Grove, Verona. Anyway, the kid's best player, running back, linebacker, breaks his leg in a Thanksgiving game. So now he doesn't play in the state championship game.
Exactly.
They lose the state. Like, it's just...
There is the worst fear realized right there. Yep.
Yeah, if you're playing for an undefeated season, what do? You're not, I don't remember what team it was. It was a team a couple years ago. They were in a state championship game, and on the Thanksgiving game, they just played their JV. They just basically gave up and said, we want to focus on that, not get anybody hurt. So it's just, I don't know. I've never liked it.
Yeah.
Dr. John, not all in. Current playoff rules with UPR doesn't allow teams to benefit from Thanksgiving games. Teams are giving up one game that could be used for playoff consideration. Giving up a regular season game for a Thanksgiving game could be the difference between hosting a playoff game or making the playoffs at all.
Very good point as well. So, yeah.
We'll ask our guest picker. He was involved in some Thanksgiving games. We'll see what he wants to say. All right, so what's the agenda tonight?
So tonight we, well, first I'd like to make sure we thank our sponsors, right? We have our Smoky Beard rubs. We have our Kimber's Tots we'd like to thank for sponsoring as well. And Agent Michelle St. Pierre, Agent of Modern Travel, and our newest sponsor, Girls Got Game, the flag football training program. So be sure to check those out. And tonight we are going to welcome back our friend Robert Sauerwein, to break down the newly released non-public A and non-public B state tournament brackets for football. And then we'll get right into our guest picks with Coach Joe Breslin will be joining us.
Yeah, we got a couple quick hitters for Robert, too, to get through the public, so we'll break down our brackets.
We just want to make sure that we get to that also. Perfect. Okay. He's ready to go, so
let's bring him in.
Bring him on in. Awesome.
Yes, let's bring him in.
And then we will get ready to roll. All right. Hey, Robert, welcome back. How are you? I think you are muted. I'm not sure if you can hear us, but I think you're muted.
There you go.
There we go. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
So the first question is, you decided to come back to us this week. That's a good start for us, that you decided to come back.
Thank you for
joining us. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Well, we enjoy having you. Thank you so much for being here. So we'll hop right in, and first we'll break down the non-public A bracket a little bit, and just like last week, we'll toss it to you first, and you can break down what you have for that. This is a biggie. This is a big one, big bracket, a lot of teams, and a lot of good teams.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead, Robert. How would you like to start us off?
We're on the non-public Group A, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, of course, Don Bosco's got a bye. Dan Sabella's did a great year with Don Bosco, but Don Bosco's got a bye. We got St. John Vianney against St. Augustine. I'm going to go, actually, believe it or not, I'm going to go with St. Augustine on this one to advance against Don Bosco Prep. We have Seton Hall Prep Pope John. I'm going to go ahead with Seton Hall Prep to advance over Pope John. Pope the 6 over St. Joe's. I'm going to take St. Joe's, the local team up here in Montvale. And St. Peter's Prep over Notre Dame. Of course, I'm going to go with St. Peter's Prep. We got St. Augustine, but Don Bosco. Don Bosco will advance. Seton Hall Prep against St. Joe's. I'm giving St. Joe's to advance over Seton Hall Prep. And St. Peter's Prep over Del Barton. I'm going to take St. Peter's Prep over Del Barton to advance.
Okay, and then we get to the bottom of the bracket. We still have Donovan, right? Donovan Catholic, Hudson Catholic.
All right, I'm sorry. Right, we got Donovan. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
You can continue. Donovan Catholic over Hudson Catholic. A little bit of an upset here, but I'm going to take Hudson Catholic. I like Hudson Catholic this year, the way they're playing. And then Bergen Catholic will have a bye. Hudson Catholic will meet Bergen Catholic. Bergen Catholic will advance. So it's going to be St. Peter's, Bergen Catholic, and then when it comes down to it, it's going to be Don Bosco Prep and Bergen Catholic. And guess what, folks? I know this is something else, and I know Don Bosco beat Bergen Catholic during the regular season, but I think Vito Campanelli's figured it out, and I think Bergen Catholic's going to take them in the final.
All right, can I go next, Jen?
Sure.
I'll go next. I'm kind of with you. St. Augustine, I'm going to go Seton Hall Prep. St. Joe's, Montvale. St. Peter's Prep, Del Barton. I went Donovan Catholic over Hudson Catholic. I just think maybe Hudson just playing with the big boys. They have played a lot of close games and beating a bunch of teams this year. I'm going to take Donovan, and obviously Bergen's got the bye. So then I will go Bergen. I will go St. Joe's. I'm going to go chalk here. I'm going to sound like you, Jen. St. Peter's,
That's
Bergen Catholic.
First.
But then you know what? I'm telling you, the game, and I really think this. I think the sleeper team in this bracket is, and we'll get into sleepers in a second, but I think that St. Joe's and Montvale, I know their defense has been down, but if they can figure it out, they score a ton of points. But I will take Bosco. I will take Bergen over, sorry to my source, but I will take Bergen over St. Peter's Prep. And I'm with you, Robert. I think, people are going to look, and Jen and I watched that game, and we saw how Don Bosco just physically dominated Bergen Catholic. But we also saw Bergen Catholic in person against St. Peter's Prep. And
Right.
I think, like you said, they got the 2 quarterback system working. I'm going to take Bergen over Bosco, too.
Wow.
I can't really disagree much with how you just broke down that bracket there. I agree. I do have all chalk going forward in that first round there. I think it's going to be a Bergen Catholic Bosco rematch too. I do. I'm torn about who's going to come out on top. I really am. I did not circle it on my paper because I feel like, obviously, as we probably all do, it really could go either way. But Robert, I kind of agree with you. I feel like Vito Campanelli, having had that first game under his belt, is going to have the game plan to kind of combat what got them in the first matchup. So that's where I'm giving the edge to Bergen Catholic in the final matchup, and I'm picking them.
Robert, I'm sorry. Can I ask Robert a
Yeah,
question real
go
quick?
ahead.
Robert, let me ask you this. Do you think in the long run, it was good that Bergen Catholic got a loss, right? So it's not now they're going back to back undefeated, haven't lost in 2 years. And it maybe, it woke them up a little the way they got physically beat up by Bosco. Do you think in the long run, that's a good thing?
Absolutely. I mean, the loss was a 31-7 loss. I think Vito realized after that loss, he saw. Believe it or not, Don Bosco has their weaknesses like any other team. But I think this is the one where Vito actually concentrated. And I remember seeing him after that game, and by the way, I'm a graduate of Don Bosco, so there's no favoritism involved here. All right, that was many years ago, and they were a great team back then. But I just had this funny feeling Vito learned a lot from that game, and he's a great coach. I mean, he's from the first family of high school football here in the state. But I'm telling you, I think he learned a lot from that game, and I think he's going to be prepared. I think he knows this is coming, and he's going to be prepared.
Okay, real quick, Kenny Kirkpatrick, I'm going with Bergen Catholic as well. Del Barton could be a deep sleeper. They lost a lot of close games. So who's your sleeper, Robert, out of this non-public A?
What's that again?
Who would you say is a sleeper in this bracket?
You know who's a sleeper? St. Joe's. I think St. Joe's is a big-time sleeper in this bracket. I was looking a little at Del Barton on this one, and then I finally realized that St. Joe's has got to be the sleeper in this bracket.
Jen, what about you?
I don't know how much we can call them a sleeper, but I feel like anybody who's not Bosco or Bergen can be considered a sleeper in this bracket because I feel like everybody is anticipating that it's going to be a Bosco Bergen, final just based on what's happened so far this season. So I don't know how much of a sleeper my team is, but you know what? I'm going to put St. Peter's Prep there because they can score. They've seen all the, they've all battled it out every week, and I feel like. They feel like maybe they're being overlooked a little bit, and sometimes playing with that chip on your shoulder.
Yes.
Like you have something to prove, and kind of fly under. What do they have to lose? Everybody's picking Bosco Bergen,
Right.
What do they have
They're
to
1,
lose?
2, and 3 in the state, so it's like you're right.
It's kind of like, what about us? Like everybody's always saying. So I would pick them as my sleeper for that reason.
Okay.
Yeah, again, like how much of a sleeper is that really? But
No, hey, listen. Like you said, the majority of people are probably going to go Bergen Bosco. And it's like they're kind of like you forget about that team, but they're still like, especially offensively.
Yes,
I mean, they got talent galore, a great quarterback. Kenny's saying Jen has insomnia. She doesn't pick sleepers. Haha, just messing with you, Hoops.
That's true though. I can't say that that's not true.
All right, Robert. So let's jump over. We're gonna go non-public B. Red Bank, the 1 seed, hosting Gloucester. I can't even say that. How do you say that? Gloucester.
Gloucester Catholic.
You say it better than I do. St. Thomas Aquinas at Holy Spirit, the 5-4. The team I don't want to talk about, the 3 seed, St. Joe's of Hamilton. Being at St. Mary's, that was our nightmare every year. They're the 3 seed, hosting Montclair Immaculate. And then the 7 seed, Immaculata, at the 2 seed, DePaul. So, Robert, looking at non-public B, what's your thoughts for this?
You know, it's interesting that you say it. A lot of these teams I did not actually see play. Some of these teams I've actually seen play, but not. So I spent quite a number of days going through actually films and everything of all these teams and putting them all together. This is what I come out with. Red Bank Catholic against Gloucester Catholic. Red Bank Catholic will advance, the number 1 seed. St. Thomas Aquinas and Holy Spirit. I'm going to go with St. Thomas Aquinas on this one, the 5 seed. St. Joseph of Hamilton over Montclair Immaculate. I'm going to take St. Joe's. And Immaculata DePaul, I'm definitely taking DePaul. So it's Red Bank Catholic, St. Thomas Aquinas. Red Bank Catholic advances, St. Joe's and DePaul. I'm going with DePaul on this one. So it's going to be the 1 and the 2 seed, DePaul Catholic and DePaul. And I'm going to pick DePaul to win the final in Group B.
Okay. Can I go next?
Yeah, you can go. Yep.
Thank you. Before you usurp me. I pretty much have the same breakdown as you there, Robert. I think it's going to be a Red Bank DePaul final, and I think DePaul is going to come out victorious. I think they've been, playing really well as of late. I know that their record is not indicative of the type of team just given the schedule that they play, and I feel like especially given that schedule, they've been playing the tough teams even tougher as of late. So I'm going with hey, Robert, you and I, we got the Campanelli brothers winning each non-public. So maybe it'll be a happy Thanksgiving in the in the camp when the Campanellis all get together. But I'm agreeing with you. There is a Red Bank DePaul final with DePaul winning.
Kenny is saying DePaul is in the SEC of high school football. DePaul all the way. I'm going Red Bank Catholic. I'm gonna go a little different though. I'm gonna take Holy Spirit with an upset. I know St. Thomas Aquinas has been hot. I think they won like 9 in a row. I'm gonna take St. Joe's of Hamilton. I'm gonna take DePaul. I'm gonna take Red Bank Catholic. And here's where I'm gonna shock you. I've seen it up close. St. Joe's of Hamilton. Paul Sacco, head coach. He has something like 21, or they have like 21 or 24 state championships. I think and plus he's retiring after this year. I think they upset DePaul, they upset Red Bank, and I think they give him a farewell present and a state championship. I'm gonna go with an upset right now. St. Joe's Hamilton. Oh. Kenny's saying that's his sleeper.
That's my
and I'm
sleeper.
picking that sleeper too. Robert, what about you?
You know who I would take a sleeper? Believe it or not, I'm going to take Holy Spirit as a sleeper. I think you're right before. I think Holy Spirit's got a very good team this year. I'm going to go with Holy Spirit as a sleeper in this.
Okay. What we want to do with you next, Robert, is we want to give you a couple quick hitters with the public school brackets, if you don't mind, with round 2 going back to round 1, but probably looking forward more to this weekend's games, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will start it off. Will any number 1 seeds get beat this week? And if so, who?
You want to say it again? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Will any of the 1 seeds left, Woodridge, Rutherford, Caldwell, North Huntington, Irvington, West Morris, Old Tappan, PCTI, Phillipsburg, will any of them lose? And if so, who?
Looking over everything on here, and give me a moment here. I was going over all the numbers and everything. You got, I am going to pick one team, and I don't know, a lot of people are going to disagree with me out there. Woodridge. I was impressed with Cedar Grove. I was impressed the way they played, and they're going to meet Cedar Grove on the next game coming up this Friday. And I like the way Woodridge plays, but I also like the way the Cedar Grove is going into this playoffs, and I think they could upset them. So I'm going to take, if the only team I would take Woodridge at this point.
Okay.
All right. My next one for you, Robert, is we have Kinnelon at an 8 seed and Jefferson at a 6 seed, both advanced. We can call them potential Cinderellas, right? Kinnelon will play Brearley, and
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson will play Westwood. Do you see either of these potential Cinderellas advancing past this weekend?
Actually, I do see one potential. The Jefferson Westwood. I'm going to have to tell you guys, and you probably would agree with me. I don't see an advance on Jefferson over Westwood the way Westwood's been playing. Um, I do see one team. Hey, look, Henlon beat Parkridge 36-34. What an upset. Okay. I mean, the way they played and the way I saw the tapes on that and the video on that and the way they played, they went into this game like they were actually a 2 seed or a 3 seed, and they were an 8 seed. If any team is going to advance, I think out of all these brackets, I think Kenilon actually has a shot against Brearley. I really honestly think they could do it, and they could go to the final.
Okay.
All right, great.
My next one, you kind of answered it, but there's a two-parter, so you could probably just answer the second part. Who wins Cedar Grove Woodridge, and does the winner of that game win the North Group 2?
All right. So you're asking the winner of the Cedar Grove Woodridge, who would win, and out of that would be what?
2 Group 1.
I'm sorry, the North 2 Group, right?
Yeah.
Right. Who wins Cedar Grove Woodridge, and then whoever you pick to win that, will they win the North 2 Group 1 section? Meaning they'll beat Butler or Weequahic.
I mean, I'm going to go with my gut instinct and say Woodridge is going to win the game. Again, we just talked about it. Cedar Grove, they could actually pull something off here because of the way they've been playing. I mean, they won 28-14 over Walker Valley, which actually Walker Valley was a 5 seed, and they were very good this year. I'm going to have to go with Woodridge on this game. And again, Woodridge is going to meet Butler, but I think Woodridge is going to pull it off.
Okay.
All right, my next one. There are 8 undefeated teams left. We have Brearley, Rutherford, Westwood, Caldwell, Newton, West Morris, Wayne Valley, and Phillipsburg. How many of those remain undefeated of those 8 teams after this week?
I would say, well, we're going to have to give it to Westwood because Westwood would be one of the teams that would stay undefeated. Looking at all the numbers and looking at everything.
So we Brearley, Rutherford, Caldwell.
Rutherford and Caldwell. I think, honestly, Caldwell will stay undefeated. Are you saying going into the final? You're saying after this Friday?
Just this week. Do they continue? Yep, just after this week's round.
Who will stay undefeated? All right. I would say a majority of teams that you mentioned are going to stay. There's only one team. One team I'm really worried about. That's Rutherford. I mean, they're a very good team and everything else, but I'm going to have to go with all the teams except for Rutherford to stay undefeated.
Okay, my next question for you, it's kind of similar, but there's 4 teams undefeated in Group 2. Rutherford, Westwood, Rutherford, Westwood, Caldwell, and Newton. Which one of those 4 would you say has the best chance of being beat this week out of those 4?
Which team has the best chance?
To get beat. Like, should be on upset alert, I guess. Rutherford, Westwood, Caldwell, Newton.
Right. I'm looking at it right now, and I think the best team that's got a shot, would be Glenrock over Newton. Glenrock has played very well. I mean, Glenrock's a 3 seed, but they've had a great season. I mean, they did beat Richfield Park 13-7. Richfield Park was a halfway decent team. So I would say Glenrock would be the only team that would have a chance, and that would be undefeated against Newton.
Okay, real quick, I want to give a shout out because Kenny just reminded me, and we should have been on this, but Coach Catrona, Woodridge High School, just received New York Jets Coach of the Week. So big shout out to Coach Catrona.
100%.
Big fan of the show. We're big fans of him and his program.
100%.
And we'll see how we make those picks in a little bit.
Okay, Robert, there were a couple shutouts last week in the first round of state tournament play. Do you think there will be any shutouts this week?
Yes. I'm actually, folks, I get back to Westwood all the time. I mean, they've had 6 shutouts this year. Can they do number 7? I believe honestly they can against Jefferson. I mean, I think the only team I'm looking at right now that could possibly do a shutout would be Westwood. But the other teams, I mean, there's going to be a time when Westwood's going to be scored on because the way the playoffs are advancing, harder teams as they advance. But I think Westwood could actually pull off another shutout.
All right.
Okay, my last one for you is if Ramapo gets by Ridge and Irvington gets by Northern Highlands, it'll set up a Ramapo Irvington sectional final. Now, we made a deal with Dr. John from Irvington that if that is the game next Friday, we will be doing a live pregame from Irvington for that sectional final. So my question for you, next Friday, Robert, will Jen and I be doing a live pregame show at Irvington for Ramapo Irvington sectional final?
Absolutely. No doubt. I think it's coming. I think you guys are going to have to start packing your bags.
Okay.
Dr. John, make room for us.
That's it.
All right, and my last one, Robert, for you is, what do you think is going to be the best North Jersey public school playoff game this weekend?
The best game I want to see this year, I'll be honest with you, the best game is going to be if Caldwell advances and Westwood advances. I would like to see Caldwell go against Westwood.
All right, great.
This is a revenge for the other year, last year. I mean, Caldwell beat Westwood in the same situation, same fashion. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to have both 10-0 teams go against each other?
Yep, 100%. Yep.
This would be the game that everybody would be talking about. But I think Caldwell Westwood would probably be the best game out of the whole entire playoffs. And again, a lot of people are picking Westwood to go to Rutgers. Westwood is going to go to Rutgers against one team from the South, and it's going to be, I think this is the year for Westwood championship. And I think Westwood would beat Caldwell, but I think it'd be a great game.
Okay.
All right. Robert, thank you so much again for joining us this evening. Always a pleasure. We appreciate your time.
Oh, no problem. And just to let everybody know, I will be attending the Westwood game this weekend.
All right.
Okay,
nice.
Awesome. So please keep us updated from that.
We appreciate all of your, oh my gosh, what's the word? Highlights as the game goes on. So keep them coming, please.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. You have a good night, everybody.
Thank
you, Robert.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, there's Robert doing a great job breaking down, did the non-publics. And again, you know what's just so funny how you say, like, when you say sleeper, and we're saying St. Joe's, St. Joe's, you guys are saying St. Peter's, and it's like, it's number 3 and 4 team in the state.
I know, that's why I said
sleeper
it's
they
weird
are.
to call them a sleeper,
but it's true.
Yeah, I feel like they're being a little overlooked. So, it's hard when you're in that company,
Yep.
But I do believe I have Coach Breslin ready to go.
Now the time has come for picks. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Well, while we're admitting Coach Breslin, did you want to go over the standings?
Of course. I'll put the standings are up on the board. There's Coach Breslin.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? Oh, is he muted on you too? I can't. Are you muted, Coach, by chance?
I do not hear Coach.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't look like he's muted, but we can't hear. Yeah, we can't hear. Can you hear us? All right, and we can't hear you.
Luckily, Coach is a tech guy, so
yeah,
he will figure it out in a couple
exactly.
seconds. Defensive guru / tech guy. He will figure that out.
While he is figuring it out, we'll go over just our
Well, let me ask you this before we go into standings. What game are you looking forward to this week?
This week?
Yes.
I think Woodridge Cedar Grove is going to be good. I'm interested to see how Kinnelon does. So that'll be. I'm just kind of interested to see if they continue with their run, because I think Robert made a good point. That listen, they should beat the 1 seed. I mean, it's how could they? They definitely have the potential to beat the 4 seed. Caldwell Ramsey. That was something we had.
Kenny just nailed it. Just what you said.
Did you just say it? Yeah. There's a lot of good matchups. Now you're getting. I'm interested to see how Clifton does. That
PCTI,
second time matchup with PCTI.
We were there for that original one.
Yep. So there's a lot of good. West Essex Cranford. I think it's going to be a good one too.
Mine's Ramsey Caldwell. I've been wanting this for 2 years. Just like Kenny says, Ramsey Caldwell, you nailed it. And then the other one, I believe the Cedar Grove Woodridge, the winner of that game, is gonna win that section. So I believe, and I just think that place is gonna go absolutely. By the way, it was Woodridge's first home playoff win.
Oh, okay.
Is what that was. So I think Woodridge, that place is gonna be off the charts on Friday night. Make sure they got the extra hot chocolate. I wonder if their hot chocolate this week will be refills free this week, because I think there's going to be a lot of people in Woodridge.
I was nursing my shoulder.
Yeah, you were banged up for that one.
Exactly. Well, we still don't hear you, Coach. I'm not sure. It's nothing we're doing, right? Is there anything I can do? Because we heard Robert.
Yeah. No, I think.
So should we go over the standings while?
Yeah, while Coach is getting set up, we'll go over the standings.
Last week was a big week. We had I'm trying to see where I put my notes on
a lot of games.
A lot of games that we picked last week. I think it was 25 or 26 games. I can't remember. I think it was 25 because I believe you and I both went 22 and 3. Mr. Beelan came in next, and then Kenny rounded out. We did not get a guest picker last week, so we gave them. Kenny was 19 and 6, so we gave the guest picker the lowest.
They need help
as well. So
the guest
exactly.
pickers.
So we did help the guest picker out a little bit in that one. So, but as you can see by the standings, since Kurt and I tied last week, I still do remain 2 games ahead. We've picked a total of 209 games so far this season. So there are the records. So Kurt's 2 games behind. Beelan at 148 and 61. Kenny at 139 and 70. And our guest picker at 125 and 84. So I'm not sure.
So Coach is working on getting in. I mean, I can see if I can get him on the phone. Do you want me to do that?
Oh, maybe. You want to do that? Coach Breslin, want to see if we can, should he on your cell phone that way, or
yeah, it's just
but
you have to go very.
Right.
It's gonna be hard getting with.
Okay, Coach Breslin, is that all right? If okay, we'll do that instead then. All right, perfect. He's giving me the thumbs up. So
okay, we could still hear Coach.
Yeah. Okay. So what was I gonna say?
Wait, I think I might know the problem. I'll wait till I get Coach on the phone.
What's up, guys? I don't know what's going on.
Coach, are you sure you're not wearing a mask and you're not Eddie Siciliano for Halloween?
Wait a minute now.
Are you sure that's not what it is?
That's not what it is. I have it on internal microphone. I don't know why it's not switching over.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know, because that just is a little curious to me. Sis hasn't commented, and I haven't got a text from him, so I'm just very
Want me to hold it?
yeah. If you can hold it, that would be great. But the speakers can come out
I
from
don't
there.
understand why it's not switching over.
All right, so here we go. That's all right. We'll make it work.
Yeah, luckily between you and Kurt, the tech guys, we're making it work.
Exactly.
All right, so Coach, we'll have you start off each game for us as our guest picker. So the first game on tap is in North 1, Group 1, number 8, Kenilon at number 4, Brearley.
Again, the whole bracket, the Group 1 bracket is just amazing. There's so many talented teams. But I am going to go with Brearley to win this game.
Coach, can you mute the mic on your computer? I just want to try something real quick. I just get a little feedback. Okay, I think we're okay now.
Alrighty. I had to put my glasses on for this segment because Kurt's picks, what he wrote. First of all, he wrote all the picks so tiny because there's so many this week, and then as he was taking the notes from Kenny's picks, in order for me to see. So please forgive me if I, miss anything. Kenny is actually picking Kenilon in this one. He's saying Cinderella Kenilon with the upset. I picked Brearley as well, and as did Mr. Beelan.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm going to take Brearley. I think they stand defeated. Kenilon. Listen, Kenilon's not going to be, afraid to go there. Like they just beat Park Ridge, but right. I'm going to take Brearley, keep them undefeated.
Yeah. All right, our next matchup, Coach Breslin, is the 3-seed Waldwick versus the 2-seed Mountain Lakes.
You go up to Mountain Lakes to play, you better be ready to go. Mountain Lakes is such a good program, so I'm going to go with the 2 seed and pick Mountain Lakes. I've seen them play Hawthorne a number of years, and they are always well coached and do a very nice job, so I'm going with Mountain Lakes.
I agree with you, Coach. Having been a Montville person, they met them in the state tournament while I was there in MetLife. Or actually, I don't think Mountain Lakes made it to MetLife that year, but they're always a hard team to beat. So I agree. I'm picking Mountain Lakes. Kenny is picking Mountain Lakes. Mr. Beelan is going Waldwick.
Yeah, I'm with Coach and you guys. I am going to take Mountain Lakes home field advantage, and it's just a great program there. I'm going to take Mountain Lakes with you guys.
All right, next we move on to North 2, Group 1, number 4 Cedar Grove at number 1 Woodridge, Coach.
What a tough game, but I'm going to say this. You know what? Tom Negro is someone who I've known for a long period of time, and his son is the quarterback. Cost that kid growing up. I got to go with the hometown boys in Woodridge. I think they're going to get it done. They got a lot of excitement going on over there, a lot of good stuff. So I'm going Woodridge.
All right. Mr. Kirkpatrick agrees with you. He's picking score 24-13, saying the Woodridge defense would just be too tough. I'm going with Woodridge. Mr. Beelan is picking an upset with Cedar Grove.
Coach, you know what impressed me about Woodridge was we always know they were very good defensively, right? And we talked the other day about the Rutherford game, and that impressed me just how they hung with Rutherford, had a chance to win. But everyone was like, can they outscore people? Can their offense score? And what did they do last week? They had to outscore. I think it was Shabazz, right? Put up over, was it 30 points? So I'm telling you, this place is just going to be crazy. It's like you said, it's a championship pedigree with Cedar Grove. This is going to be a tough game, and I think the winner of this game wins North 2 Group 1. But I'm with you, Coach. The quarterback is just, he's an outstanding player for Woodridge. I'm taking Woodridge and Coach Catrona to get it done.
All right, our next matchup in North 2 Group 1 is the 3 seed Butler traveling to number 2 seeded Weequahic.
I think Butler wants revenge with Woodridge. Right, I think they played in the regular season.
Yep.
I believe, and that was a close game. So I'm going with the upset, and I'm going to pick Butler to win that game.
All right. Mr. Beelan agrees with you. He's picking Butler as well. Kenny is going Weequahic, but he's saying that Weequahic will win a close one. I'm picking Weequahic as well. How about you?
Coach Breslin, we're like this, you and I. Payback, I was at that game. That game was very close, that Woodridge-Butler game. Butler hasn't lost since, I believe. And right. I'm with you. I think next week we're going to see a rematch in the sectional final. So I'm taking Butler to get the upset.
All right. Moving on to North 1 Group 2. We have the 4-seeded Demarest traveling to the 1 seed in Rutherford, Coach.
Well, it's Dumont.
What did I say?
Coach is from Demarest.
Did I say Demarest? Yeah. I'm sorry. I got Demarest on my mind.
Well, you had Coach on his mind.
I'm so sorry. Exactly. I'm sorry about that. He was probably like, wait a minute. My bad. Thank you for
I should be going there.
My fault.
Yeah,
again, I'm going to blame it on the glasses and Kurt's handwriting.
Oh, yeah, the handwriting. Everyone can see it's Dumont. It's my handwriting.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going Rutherford. I think Rutherford is having a great season, and I think they're going to beat Dumont this week.
All right, Kenny agrees. Rutherford is saying too much offense, and so is Mr. Beelan's in agreement. I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. Dumont's had a nice run, but I think this run is going to end. I'm going to go Rutherford with you guys.
All right, our other North 1 Group 2 matchup is our semi-Cinderella team, just like they were last year, the number 6 seed Jefferson against number 2 seeded Westwood.
Listen, last year was a Cinderella year for Jefferson, and I think this year everybody knows they're good, right? So I don't think they're sneaking up on anybody. And Westwood's pretty good, too. We played Westwood during the year, and they have a good program. So I think I'm going to stick with the higher seed, and I'm going to go with Westwood. I think they're going to be ready for them. Again, Jefferson's a good team, but I think that Westwood knows that they're very good, and they're going to be ready to play.
All right, Mr. Kirkpatrick is in agreement. His prediction is Westwood impressively by a score of 34-14. Me and Mr. Beelan are picking Westwood as well, which leaves you, Mr. Valenti.
In Sis's words, Coach Breslin nailed it. The difference is Jefferson snuck up on people. Westwood knows, like you said, Coach, this ain't a regular 6 seed. It's not going to be easy. They're going to be ready and prepared for Jefferson. I think they're the better team. So I will sweep the board with you guys and go Westwood.
All right, we move on to the other North bracket in Group 2, North 2, Group 2. The much anticipated number 4 Ramsey at number 1 Caldwell. I feel like this has been a year in the waiting for Mr. Kurt Valenti.
Yes. Absolutely.
Who do you have, Coach?
I think that Caldwell will stay undefeated and get to the finals.
All right, I agree with you on that one. So does Mr. Beelan. Kenny is picking a Ramsey upset, and Ramsey gets the upset and advances by a score of 27-21.
You know what? Everybody picks against Coach Bear, right? Except Beelan. Go against the Rams. But 2 things. The Rams, no pressure on Ramsey now. Their pressure was last week having to win their first win in 11 years. Now they're going on the road, undefeated Caldwell. You know what I want to see? I want to see Ramsey jump on top and see how Caldwell responds to being, that's what I think has to happen. If Ramsey gets on top 7-0, 14-7, make Caldwell win offensively and not defensively. Listen, it's not going to be easy. But you know what? I have faith in Ramsey. I called it last year, and I'm sticking with by my guns. I'm taking Ramsey in the upset.
All right.
Don't let me down, Coach Bear. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Watching,
You always make him nervous when you pick him.
I know.
We're waiting for the ugh.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Kenny's saying he picked Ramsey. I'm sorry. Hold on. This is the official thing. I messed up. I messed this up.
That's instant karma.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you, Kenny. Give me a hard time with the Dumont Demarest. That's instant
karma. For the record,
right
I switched it up.
Get him back.
All right. Our other matchup in that bracket is number 3 Glenrock at number 2 Newton.
Hey, Glenrock's a good program. They've been good for a long period of time. But Newton, if you've ever seen them play, and we scrimmaged them a little bit last year, they are very good. So I am picking Newton.
All right. Mr. Beelan agrees with you. It is picking Newton. I agree with you as well. I'm sticking with Newton. Kenny is picking Glenrock in a I can't read that. I know it says in another Friday night upset.
Another Friday night upset.
Another Friday night upset. So Kenny has Glenrock. How about you, Kurt?
I'm with Coach Breslin. I saw them play Ramsey, and that offense just rolls, man. It's a machine. So Glenrock, great program. They'll have something offensively for Newton, but I think Newton's going to wear him down. So I'm going to take Newton.
All right, moving on to Group 3. In North 1, we have number 4 Sparta versus number 1 Old Tappan.
Again, 2 great programs, played against them for years. Actually had the opportunity to play Old Tappan this year at Demarest. They are loaded, they are big, they are physical, they are fast. They're going to have to, contend with a spread offense, but I think they are just a little bit better, and I think Old Tappan gets the win.
All right. Kenny is agreeing, and he is saying Old Tappan will roll 34-20. I've picked Old Tappan. Mr. Beelan has picked Old Tappan.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like Coach said, it's going to be, it could be like a shootout, right? This kid's got isn't this kid the Sparta quarterback? I think has career passing yards. He's up in the state for league leader for his career. And I think it's going to be high scoring, but I think like Coach said, I'm going to take Old Tappan in a shootout. I think a lot of points. I think Old Tappan wins in a shootout.
All right, and our other side of that bracket, we have the 2-3 game, Riverdale at Hillside.
Again, Riverdale is a storied program. They've been good for years, but I think Hillside is also very good. They've been good for a little bit of time now. So I'm going to pick the upset, and I'm going with Hillside.
Alrighty. Kenny is picking Riverdale on the road, 28-23. I'm picking Hillside. Mr. Beelan is picking Hillside. You had Hillside, right, Coach?
Yes.
Okay, make sure I get that
in the
down.
Beginning of the week, or as a Friday night, Coach, I was going to take Riverdale in an upset, but Dr. John said, Kurt, don't sleep on Hillside. They're an unbelievable program. Coach Breslin said Hillside, and Dr. John says Hillside. Kurt Valenti says Hillside. So I'm going Hillside. Not going against that tandem.
All right, North 2, Group 3, we have number 5, Warren Hills. At number 1, another undefeated team, West Morris.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the undefeated team, and I'm going to go with West Morris.
Yeah, I have West Morris as well. Mr. Beelan has West Morris. Kenny is saying, I love this is a great comment this week. It's a mismatch on paper, but it will also be a mismatch on the field. He's picking West Morris big, 38-14.
Kenny's crying that I need to pick first. Does he realize my picks are circled? He doesn't even realize they're circled. Like he thinks I'm picking off of you guys.
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah, West Morris though. I mean, they put up a lot of points. They've been the program in that group. I'm going to take West Morris. We'll sweep the board with them.
All right, our other side of the North 2 Group 3 is number 3, West Essex. At number 2, Cranford.
I'm sorry, Jen, but you know what? I believe that Cranford didn't they win it all last year?
Yeah, they did.
Yep. Section,
they did.
So again, it's they were champions last year. I think they get through West Essex this week. As much as again, we've played West Essex before, and they're very good. But I think Cranford comes away with the win.
Kenny is picking West Essex, 33-31. He says West Essex and hoops in a classic. Mr. Beelan is picking Cranford. Look at my sheet, KV. Who did I circle?
You didn't circle anybody.
Right? Because I picked Cranford to win this bracket. And it's just hard for me to pick against West Essex. Yep. But I did pick Cranford in our thing to win this bracket. And
you don't have to. You can change your pick.
I know. It comes to like, should I change it? Should I not change it? My heart will be with West Essex, but I'm picking Cranford.
Look at what does my sheet say?
West Essex.
I'm going West Essex in the upset. I think they're going to get out of the little wing T, spread it out a little bit, and I think they upset.
Ironically, the other game I had trouble picking was another wing T team. I'm trying to see who you picked on that.
Don't look.
Interesting.
Don't look.
I'm trying to see if it was
but don't look. But no. No. I just picked St. Joe's of Hamilton to win the bracket. Every wing T doesn't mean every wing T, but I am going to take the upset here. I'm going to go with your West Essex Knights. And get a rematch with West Morris.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be good. All right, moving on to Group 4. In North 1, we have Northern Highlands at Irvington.
That's a poison word to Coach
Dr.
Breslin,
John,
Northern Highlands.
I am very, very sorry, Dr. John. I love the fact that you're on our show every week and everything like that. But there's a man above me that wants to see Game of the Year number 2. So this isn't anything other than personal. So I am going with the Highlands upset in this bracket, in this game.
Excuse me. Kenny is picking Irvington. He said they just have too much firepower. He's predicting a score of 35-21. I'm going Irvington as well. So is Mr. Beelan.
I don't like going against Coach Breslin. But I just don't know if Coach Breslin wants to do it just for, like he said, he wants to see the rematch.
Right.
So I just listen. Northern Highlands has gotten better second half of the year. Dr. John saying, "No worries, Coach. You're my guy." But I'm going to take I'm sorry. Yeah, all right. I'm going to take Irvington. I just don't know. Like, I think Coach Court over there is going to run. He's going to come defensively, but I think he's going to have to score some points. I don't know if they're going to be able to outscore Irvington, so I'm going to take Irvington. I'm not going against Dr. John tonight. You know why? We might have to see him next Friday. Exactly. I'm not going against him. Exactly. All bets off next Friday, but leading up to next Friday.
Dr. John, I wonder if we are able to come next Friday, what Kurt will wear. Will he wear like a Russell Wilson jersey? I'm interested to see. Will he wear something Irvington that we've been gifted? The choices.
I'm going to have a ring on, and it's not my wedding ring. That's my hint. Dr. John saying you're my guy too, Kurt. So there you go.
There you go. Listen, you have an Irvington sweatshirt with a half and half. We'll get you a half and half
That's
sweatshirt.
That's it. Like the Manning.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the what's his name? The guy Nola's father, the Mannings, and it's like that.
That's it. All good.
All right. On the other side of that North 1 Group 4, we have number 3 Ridge at number 2 Ramapo.
Ridge is very good. I've seen them on film. They run the wing tee, so they're very good. We played them last year, and it was a shootout. But again, I'm not going against my boys. I think this one will be also a potential shootout. So I'm going with the Ramapo Raiders.
Dr. John, this is great news for us. Funny, state championship hoodies just came in finally. There you go. There you go.
The
Then you better keep picking him if you want to get one.
Oh, well, I picked him tonight. I've got him.
Kenny's agreeing with you there, Coach, that it'll be a high-scoring game. He's picking Ramapo 38-34. I'm picking Ramapo as well. Mr. Beelan is picking Ridge. How about you?
I'm not going against Ramapo. Those kids are, like you said, Coach, they're on a mission. They want to get this. They want payback from last year, and this is just another step closer. I'll take Ramapo, just like Coach said, though, in a shootout. Dr. John saying I'm a simple creature, Coach.
Him and I are the same way. Nice and simple.
There you go.
No maintenance, baby.
All right, moving on to North 2, Group 4. We have number 5, Morris Knowles, at number 1, North Hunterton.
I'm going to go with North Hunterton. Again, they are, the number 1 seed for a reason, playing at their place. So I'm going to go with that.
I agree with you there for that exact reason, Coach. Mr. Beelan is also picking North Hunterdon, as is Kenny. Kenny saying North Hunterdon advances. He's predicting 31-20.
Yeah, at home, 1 seed. I think North Hunterton advances also. So we clean sweep with them.
Yeah, yep. All right, our next one is, it's so funny, Coach. We got number 3, Wayne Valley, at number 2, Randolph. And as we were looking at the brackets, I think it was over the weekend, right? You made the point of Wayne Valley is 10-0.
10-0.
And they're in, the semifinals, and they have to travel.
And they have to travel.
On the road. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Crazy. But you know what? Roger's a great guy. He runs a great program. Those kids are playoff ready. To go on the road, I don't think is difficult for them to be able to do. They've done it before. So I don't, again, it's a 2-3 game, right? So
Yes.
It's not that huge of an upset, but I'm picking Wayne Valley.
I agree. I think, and just, we had Coach on as a guest, and, we've talked about this also, 28 seniors. Sometimes there's just, like, certain things that you have in a season that makes it that little extra something special, and I kind of feel that way about his team a little bit. So I'm picking Wayne Valley, as is Mr. Beelan. Kenny's picking Wayne Valley as well, 34-24.
Yeah, I'm with you. Coach nailed it by saying, Coach Cutlar's been there, done that, right? He won a sectional title. 28 seniors, you just said, going on the road. They've done it all year with a tough schedule. So I'm going to take Coach Cutlar's and Wayne Valley, too, in the mini upset.
All right, moving on to Group 5. In North 1 Group 5, we have number 4 Clifton matching up against number 1 PCTI.
Oh, that should be a great game. 2 evenly matched teams. I thought didn't they play early in the year as well?
Couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Couple weeks
That
ago.
was a good game. But you know what? PCTI is the 1 seed. They're playing at home, and I think they will be able to escape and get a victory.
Yeah, I agree, Coach. I think that I think it's going to be a good matchup, but I do think PCTI is going to be victorious again. Clifton has a young team. They've gained a ton of experience this year, I feel like, but I don't know. I think PCTI is going to edge them out. I think it's going to be a little closer than it was last time. I know the Clifton staff will have them ready to go, and they're, I'm sure, eager for that matchup after the last game, but I'm going to go PCTI. Kenny's picking PCTI 21-17, saying his adopted team win in a hard-fought game. Mr. Beelan's picking PCTI.
Yeah, you listen, these are our guys, right? Coach Bertola, Coach Giordano, Coach Sinku, Coach Coyne. They're all our good friends over there in Clifton. And we were there, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And I want to say it was 21-3. Their offense just couldn't get going. But like you said, Coach, or you said, Jen, they're so young and how far they are. And I'm calling this right now. I'm on the record. Your next year Group 5 champs will be the Clifton Mustangs. But they're going to go through this a little bit. Sophomore quarterback, a little tough run now. I'm going to take PCTI. But Clifton next year, watch out for him.
All right, and the
Yeah,
other...
it's a valuable experience, that's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. The other side of the North 1 Group 5 matches up number 3 Westfield traveling to number 2 Union City.
Playing up in between the high school, up on that field. What a great atmosphere to play in. Unbelievable place. number 2 seed at home. I'm going Union City.
All right. Kenny agrees with you. He said Union City will win on the roof, 24-17. I have Union City as well. Mr. Beelan is picking Westfield.
Yeah, I'm going like you guys on the roof. I'm sorry, Jen, you're going home, right? You're going west,
Yep.
Union City. Kurt, is someone given the kiss of death there? Is he meeting with Clifton for next year?
Oh, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No. I'm with you guys. Coach Valdez. They're like? What did they lose? Like 9-6 or 6-3? They're like 3 points being undefeated.
Yeah,
So
yep.
I'm going to take Union City.
Good point. Very good point. All right. Going over to North 2, Group 5, we have number 4 Eastside at number 1 Phillipsburg.
I've seen, both of the teams play a little bit on film and stuff. Phillipsburg is really good. Eastside is really good. That's a far drive to get to Phillipsburg. It's a long bus ride. Then you're going to have to play Phillipsburg, who's very good. So I'm going with the number 1 seed and Phillipsburg.
All right. Kenny's picking Phillipsburg as well. He said if it was October, the Ghost would win, but now it is November, so he's picking Phillipsburg. I'm picking Phillipsburg. Mr. Beelan is picking Eastside.
Beelan's try and just pick against us for everything. Let's see if Coach.
I like it.
Let's see if Coach could do this, because I did this myself. I did it with Coach Magazine. Coach Breslin, you ready? You ready for this?
Ready.
So cheer for dear old East Side High.
I'm not a good singer.
Lead on. You know why I'm singing? It's gonna be, unfortunately, last time we sing this year. I'm gonna take.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Phillipsburg, but next year I'll be starting with that song. I'm taking Phillipsburg though.
All right. On the
Get me to sing, it's bad.
On the other side of North 2 Group 5, the other 2 remaining teams is number 6 West Orangeville playing at number 2 Ridgewood.
I'm going with Coach Watson, Coach Johnson, and the Ridgewood boys. I think they win it.
All right. Kenny agrees with you, Coach. He's saying 27-15. Ridgewood on to the next round. I'm picking Ridgewood. Mr. Beelan is picking West Orange.
Well, I'm sorry. So Beelan's going West Orange.
West Orange. Me and Kenny are Ridgewood.
You know what? This is my upset of the week. I'm taking West Orange again. Tough schedule. I know Ridgewood's been a little banged up, so I'm not sure what the. Let me ask you this, Coach. They obviously, unfortunately, Montclair had to have the forfeit last week. Does that help, like a little mini bye, Ridgewood? You
Absolutely.
don't have.
You're preparing for 2 weeks. You're getting healthy. So I think that pays dividends, especially at this point in time right now. Now, early on in the game, again, you're just going to have to get back to game speed and everything. But just having the ability to get healthy, okay, and now you have 2 weeks to prepare. So the first week could literally be an opportunity to, just go back to basics a little bit once you find out that game is canceled, and then have the ability to then really just focus on them. I think it helps.
Okay. Kenny's saying Jen's ears are bleeding from the singing, and Bella's hiding. Bella's not. Bella's sleeping.
We might have heard her howling downstairs. Yeah. All right. Now we move on to the non-public. We picked a couple non-public B games. So we're going to start with the 4-5 matchup. Number 5, St. Thomas Aquinas at number 4, Holy Spirit.
I'm going to go with St. Thomas Aquinas. I think that they're playing for some bigger things. And, I'm going to go, they're going to go on the road, and I think they're going to upset Holy Spirit.
I agree. I've picked St. Thomas Aquinas as well. So has Mr. Beelan and Kenny. Kenny's predicted a score of 21-15. He was saying St. Thomas will have the road upset. How about you?
I know St. Thomas Aquinas again. I want to say they lost their opener and won 9 in a row. But I just remember watching a lot of film from St. Joseph Hamilton, and one of their rivals was Holy Spirit. And they beat them a couple times. They're at home. I think the streak ends. I'm going to take Holy Spirit.
Oh, the outlier.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. Ooh, I think we have 2 differing games.
That's okay.
I know. No, I'm saying I'm thinking about standings. All right. Our other one from non-public B, Coach, is number 7 Immaculata at number 2 DePaul.
Listen. You know what? Immaculata is a good program, but DePaul plays an unbelievable schedule. So they are playoff ready. So I'm going with DePaul.
Kenny agrees with you, Coach. He's saying DePaul impressively by a score of 34-13. I've picked DePaul as well. So has Mr. Beelan.
So has Mr. Valenti. Just like Coach said, their schedule they play, it's just, week in and week out playing those teams. It's just going to pay off now in this bracket. So I will take DePaul.
All right, moving on to non-public A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left to go. They're all non-public A games. So we're starting with number 12, Pope John, at number 5, Seton Hall Prep.
You know what? Coach Fitzgerald, I coached with his dad in Secaucus in the early 90s. His son is now taking over Seton Hall Prep and done a great job. So I'm going with Seton Hall Prep.
Nice. I agree with you, Coach. I'm picking Seton Hall Prep. So is Kenny by a score of 35-21. Seton Hall will advance. Mr. Beelan is taking Seton Hall Prep.
Yep, just like Coach. I want to say both of these teams have lost like 4 in a row. So something's going to give. But just like you said, Coach Fitzgerald does a great job over there. I'm going to take Seton Hall Prep.
All right, then we have our 13-4 matchup. Paul the Sixth, traveling to St. Joe's of Montvale.
I'm going with Coach Gibbs as the offensive coordinator over there at St. Joe's Montvale, and I'm picking them to beat Paul the Sixth.
I'm with you, Coach. I'm picking St. Joe's as well. Mr. Beelan's picking Paul the Sixth. Kenny is picking St. Joe's. He was saying St. Joe's is like SEC. Paul the Sixth is like ACC, so that's his determining factor there.
Yeah, listen, like he mentioned, Coach Gibbs over there. They're gonna, if they can ever get to play any kind of defense, I'm telling you, this team could. They had St. Peter's up by 17. They lost that game. Somebody else, another team, they were, they just blew a lot of leads. So 2 weeks in a row, defense has played a little better. But just like you said, I just think they'll score too many points. They'll outscore Paul the Sixth. So I'm going to take St. Joe's.
All right. Our next one is number 14, Notre Dame, at number 3. Number 3 in the bracket, but also number 3 in the state, St. Peter's Prep.
Again, St. Peter's storied program. I think they, advance in this bracket.
All right. I think most of us are going to be in agreement. I agree, Coach. Mr. Beelan is picking St. Peter's Prep. Kenny's words are St. Peter's easy.
I tell you, Coach Jen and I saw St. Peter's in live in action at Bergen Catholic, and man, on offense, they're just unbelievable. Their speed is unbelievable. I think they'll have way too much for Notre Dame, and then we can get, they can get by this and get back to the big boys to try to get to. We're gonna get Coach's pick for that bracket in a second, but
that's good.
We'll ask him on that one. But I think we'll take St. Peter's here.
All right, our next one is the 7-10 matchup. Number 10, Hudson Catholic, at number 7, Donovan Catholic.
I looked at this a little bit and went back and forth. I scratched, a couple times to try to figure it out. But you know what? I'm going to go with Hudson Catholic. I think their schedule may be a little tougher. Even though they're a 10 seed, I'm going to go and I'm going to pick the upset. I needed to find a couple upsets in my mix here. And you know what? I'm going to take Hudson Catholic to upset Donovan Catholic.
I hemmed and hawed a little bit on this one as well. Not as much as my West Essex Cranford, but I did. But I ultimately chose, Donovan Catholic. Kenny chose Donovan Catholic. He says it's going to be a shootout, but he's got Donovan Catholic victorious 33-27. Mr. Beelan is choosing Hudson Catholic.
I hate going against Coach Breslin. I hate it, but I was like, this is seriously probably the toughest game to pick too. Just and you know what? Just like Coach said, Hudson Catholic's very impressive this year. Tough schedule. Yep. They're hanging with those teams. I'm going to take Donovan Catholic, but again, honestly, I would be not surprised at all that if Hudson Catholic wins this game. So for the show, I'm taking Donovan Catholic.
Alrighty, and our last matchup, we have St. Joe's of Metuchen, correct? At number 6, Del Barton. The 11-6.
I'm gonna go with Del Barton in this game. I think they're just a little bit better than St. Joe's Metuchen, so I'm gonna stick with them.
All right, I agree. I'm picking Del Barton. Mr. Beelan is picking Del Barton. Kenny has Del Barton by a score of 27-20, saying they'll escape the upset.
Yeah, I'm with you guys too. I'm going to take Del Barton. Again, they had a lot of tougher. Listen, their whole schedule is tough, but tough losses in the beginning, starting to win a little bit in the second half. So I will take them. Coach, I got 2 questions for you real quick while we got you. Who wins the non-public? You know what? Let's do both brackets. Non-public A. Who wins that bracket? Bergen, St. Peter's, Bosco, Joe's. What do you think?
What a tough bracket, right? That's just amazing, the amount of talent in that bracket. And do we think it comes down to Bosco and Bergen again? Possibly. Can Bergen, it seemed like in the first game, Bosco seemed to dominate the offensive line and the defensive line. Can Bergen make some adjustments in order to fix that and allow them the ability to try to, make an impact and help on the offensive and defensive line? But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Bergen Catholic to come back and beat Don Bosco in a rematch.
Okay, that's really been the consensus on this. Is that revenge, Coach Campanelli? How about non-public B, Coach?
I just think that DePaul just plays a phenomenal schedule. They are playoff ready, and I don't see anybody in non-public B being better than Bosco, Bergen,
Joe's,
St. Joe's,
right.
St. Peter's, so I'm going with DePaul.
Okay, and my last thing, Kenny brought up a question we were discussing a little bit about Thanksgiving games, right? So we kind of threw 3 out there. One, again, and it happened with us at St. Mary's just because we were a smaller bracket, but you win a state championship before a Thanksgiving game, now you got to play a Thanksgiving game. 2, you lose a state championship game before you play a Thanksgiving game, and nobody's head is in the game, and you got to play a Thanksgiving game. Or 3, which we did, and I know you did, you have a state championship game coming up, but you still have, you have a state championship game, but you still have a Thanksgiving game before, especially when we're a Rampo, undefeated. You want to keep an undefeated season, but now you got to play that. But you're really looking ahead to the big one. What's your thoughts on Thanksgiving game in all those scenarios?
Wow, a lot of different scenarios, but let's go with the one that I was involved in the one time when we had to play Indian Hills in the pouring rain in 2003, right? We're 10-0.
Yeah.
Okay, or 11-0 at the time, and then we have to play, we play them. It's a rivalry game because it's Indian Hills, but the kids are looking forward to playing in the state championship game, and we end up losing. But I think it did help motivate our kids to make sure that they were ready to go for the state championship game. But it becomes, it becomes difficult to try to get ready for that game when you're playing for a state championship game.
Yep. It's just like I remember Verona Cedar Grove. I don't remember the kid's name, but he was a phenomenal athlete. I want to say it was the Cedar Grove kid. And like I said, they were playing in a state championship game, but that was still their Thanksgiving game. Their best kid, he breaks his leg in the Thanksgiving game. They don't have him for the state championship. They lose the state championship. That's where it's like.
Ooh, I got a scenario.
And then there was another one too. Coach, there was another one. I want to say it was a couple years ago. The team was I don't know if they were undefeated. They might have had one loss playing the state championship game, and they just played their JV kids in the game, and they lost their Thanksgiving game, and then they came back. I want to say they won a state championship. So it's like so many different scenarios, and what would you do, and what so.
But I've seen situations where you've played, teams have played the JV team the week before, and then you lose the state championship game too.
Right.
So, now you're in a situation where your kids didn't get any work at all, or, listen, at the end of the day, you only play, you only have the opportunity to play 11, 12 games.
Yep.
Right? And you don't ever get them back either. So it's a difficult situation. It is. It's extremely difficult. But you can get hurt in the state championship game too. Do you want to be careful? Do you play half? We've played, had games in situations where we played a half, to get our kids ready to play, and then we took them out after the half, so they weren't, they didn't get beat up anymore physically. But it's just a tough situation, and I think the way they've scheduled things now, more and more of those games are just now going away.
Yeah.
I wonder if this has happened. You made me think of this when you said Verona Cedar Grove. and Coach Breslin, maybe you know this better. You know who might know this really is Dr. John too. But if I'm not mistaken, Verona and Cedar Grove have played each other for a state sectional title at some point, right?
Well, no,
they're a rivalry, and they're
that's
also in
that's
the
what
same
that's what
section.
happened that year. They
Yeah.
played Thanksgiving, and then they played 2 weeks later
Yeah.
for the state
Right,
championship
right,
game.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
or
So
for the
that-
state
oh,
section.
yeah,
Yeah,
so the,
that's definitely it.
Oh, you didn't mention that part.
Yeah.
That they were playing they were playing each other.
Oh,
for
they
the
played
state
each other
cha-
for
yeah.
the state championship
well, I was
game. Yeah,
curious.
and
when you said that, it made me think. I'm like, ooh, because they played the same thing. I wonder if
I just remember
that
their
makes it
best
even
player
worse.
breaking his leg
That makes it even
in the
worse.
Thanksgiving
Yeah.
game.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, in that first game, you're pretty vanilla. You don't really show much. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
But it's just interesting when you think of like, it's not just like, oh, it's like, you know, to me, the worst was when we lost the state championship game. How are you, those kids motivated 4 days later to play a Thanksgiving game?
Right.
You know,
Sure.
I mean, and honestly, even when we won the state championship, it was like,
It's hard to get
we're
motivated
practicing
to play.
today. We're practicing.
Right. It's like
you know,
the pinnacle. How do you
right?
come back?
You
from
don't
that?
get back.
Yeah,
And
very
like,
hard to get motivated to play again.
and like
Yeah.
for the
Again.
first half, it was like going through the motions. Wallington's jumping around, and then it's like, all right, you beat them, but it's like it took you, you know,
Yeah, it takes a while to
it
get
took a while to get back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us. It's always such a pleasure to have you on the show and your insight.
Always a pleasure to be on. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my microphone. Now I got to work on fixing that. I got to call Sitz after this to see if he can help me fix it. So.
Coach, take that mask off. Take that mask off.
So I don't know. You know what? I use Teams on this so many times, so I don't know if there's a setting somewhere that's, restricting it because I use Teams all the time for work. But I got to work on that. But thanks again for having me. I enjoyed being on here. I always enjoy being on your show. You both do a great job, and appreciate all you do for high school sports.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You
All
too.
right. There
All
he
right.
is, the legend, Coach Breslin, the man. There's food job and great to. What do you say? Oh, good job and great to see you, Coach. That's Kenny's typos. But no, Coach is great, and he was when he was giving us the like the story. And we remember, like we talk about it with Coach Sis. Like it's so hard to do it where nothing's easy with those Thanksgiving games. But you look back. Last thing. You look back and it's tradition. I know somebody posted something the other night on TV, and it had the Garfield Clifton game. And I talked to my parents and other people, and they're like, there were 30,000 people
Right.
at those games way back when. And you look at a picture and you're like, where is this?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it's not as big as it was, but for some programs it still is. But back then, I mean, that was like the event. You're going to that game.
Right.
So,
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in this evening, and keep coming back for some more.
Look at Robert's words. Pack your bags and get ready. Dr. John, I hope it gets Kenny. Times are changing. Maybe it's time to eliminate Thanksgiving Day games in general and just end the regular season with a rivalry team. Well, Dr. John, do your job. Ramapo, do your job. And we will be in Irvington.
Yeah.
We would be coming home from convention.
That's true.
Right up down to
From
Irvington,
AC.
baby. Right from AC to Irvington. Maybe we don't even unpack. We just go there. And you know what'll be good? We'll get our championship hoodies. And then we'll see, though, if I take that hoodie off and there's something green underneath. We'll see. But let's get there.
We got to get there first, exactly. All right.
We'll check back in on Friday night for our recap show.
Friday or Saturday, depending on the. We said Friday, but we wound up doing it on Saturday.
we'll do it.
Just we will do a recap at some point.
All right, boys and girls.
Thank you.